Manic, pertaining to or affected by excessive excitement or enthusiasm. Phrase.
This is Manic Mindset. It's time for another Manic episode with Haley and Lynn. Join us each week as we dive down the rabbit hole of navigating life while being hyper-focused on success. Our manic moments are where some of our best ideas come from. We not only embrace the chaos, we thrive in it.
Today, we're going to talk about community over competition.
That's like the foundation for everything we do.
I truly believe that. So I think we really wanted to talk about this because especially the world that we live in, the area that we live in, there's probably over 8,000 agents at this point, and there's a lot of competition.
For sure.
And we've taken a stand on community and abundance. You have this feeling of comparison.
Yeah.
So when you go into comparison mode, you spend a lot of your thoughts and effort in trying to one up that person.
Or like the keeping up with the Joneses.
Ew. Mm-hmm. So that whole comparison thing can really get you into that competition mode. Yeah. There is healthy competition, and then there is really, really awful competition. The awful competition is the thing that keeps you awake at night because you're so worried about what someone else is doing.
Yeah, it's stress-inducing.
The healthy competition is the thing that makes you map out how you're going to level up.
You're inspired. I want to join you on the podium, not punt you off of it.
Right, exactly, yes. But there's also people who are not even in our industry that have this competition in the back of their mind that for us or, people around them that they aren't even thinking about it. They're not even thinking about it. It's not even on their wavelength. But I also think you have to be super careful when you do speak about community over competition. The community that you keep can either lift you up and make you successful or they can drown you.
Yeah.
You have your leeches. And you have to be able to recognize those people that are not good for you, for your business, for your family, for your mindset.
Yeah.
I still have people in my life that'll be like, you need to be super careful who you let in your circle. Like, mind all your business.
Thanks for the warning. I'll decide myself.
Yeah.
But the other side of the coin of that is it's frustrating. Like if you hang out with, all these people, somebody new moves in, whatever it may be, and they're coming around and you're kind of like, you instantly know they're not the vibe. And everybody else, just like we said, like, yeah, okay, I'm going to learn a lesson myself. Like, they got to learn that lesson on their own time. Mm-hmm. And we've had, people come back and be like, God, you were right. And I'm like, we know. We were just waiting for you to come back around. Like, you got to learn a lesson yourself. You're not going to tell me who not to be friends with. I might have to burn that bridge on my own.
Well, I also feel like, especially, with what you're even, speaking to right now, we've all been in that position.
Yeah.
We've all done that.
Everyone's been that naive person.
We all have, especially when you move to a new place or you start a new school or you start a new job, right? Yeah. You gravitate to those people who make you feel good in the beginning. I had a principal, I think maybe 7th or 8th grade. His name was Mr. Dermody. And he once told me when I was a kid, I moved a lot. So I was in and out of schools all the time. And, you're just wanting to make friends.
Yeah.
And so he told me, and I'll never forget this. He said, Haley, you're going to have a lot of people that want to be your friends. And I urge you to hold out for those quality friends. Mm-hmm. Do not become friends with the people who first want to become friends with you. Mm-hmm. Because typically, they're the ones who haven't had friends for a reason. And they latch on to those people in the beginning right away because...
like fresh meat.
Yeah, it's like fresh meat, right? But there's a reason for it. So it was for the first time in my life in 7th grade. Mm-hmm. I feel like that was a huge lesson for me. I held out. Yeah. I waited. I did not become friends with the first kids who wanted to be friends with me. And because of that, I created lifetime friendships and ended up being in a really great group of girls. And I'm friends with quite a few of them. But long story short, I become really good friends with his daughter. Mm-hmm. And full circle, years later, my sister has her baby and she's the delivery nurse with us.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was super cool. And, we just had this really great relationship. But that piece of advice, the fact that I'm even telling it today,
that you can like remember it,
that I can remember it. I remember that. And it still holds true as an adult.
absolutely.
It holds true in a lot of instances where, you have to be able to take those moments of like, oh, I made a bad decision, and move forward. Don't try and repair it. If it's not for you, keep it moving. Absolutely. It's okay to say no. So I really appreciate that advice, and I thought that was a huge thing for me. And I really think that being able to eliminate that competition and embrace that community, and once you start embracing that more community vibe, and like my ideas I can share with you, and they're going to be different because you're going to map them out differently.
It's very what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like people will be more willing to tell you things and share things with you. Like there's been a lot of people where I'll reach out and be like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? They'll give me their thoughts, and then like, maybe a few weeks later they'll reach out to me and what do you think about this? Right. You have to be able to do that and not have that scarcity mindset.
And it's important, like, to be receiving and receptive on both sides of that. Like, I might ask you for your advice. Like, even something as simple as like, hey, I put a dress in the group chat the other day. And I was like, I'm literally on the line. I don't know if I hate it or I love it. Is it awesome or is it awful? Like, I don't know. And some people are like, love it. Some people are like, hate it. I'm going to do what I want to do. I like the dress. I bought the dress. Like, I
Did you
appreciate
buy
your
it?
opinion. I did.
I didn't have an opinion on it because I think you look great and everything, but I definitely was like seeing where their thoughts were, but I just didn't have an opinion on it.
It's just funny because it's like, I mean, they wouldn't do this, but like, what if I disagree? Like, I hate that dress. It's awful. And then I get it. Like, you then feel weird, right? Like, you can't feel weird. You can give your opinion. It might not change my mind. It might.
You're very confident in your, like, who you are. You're very confident in who you are, and I noticed that about you. You're great. Like, you're not afraid to, if you want to do a video, you do a video. If you want to wear a certain outfit, you wear a certain outfit. If you want to wear your hair a certain way, you wear your hair a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, you don't care what other people think. Their opinion does not matter to you. And I love that about you. I think that's amazing.
I think people so very easily get in their own heads in the worst way possible. Like, there's some people, man, I just really rub them the wrong way just by being happy in my own body. I've earned the right to be confident and content in my body and in my own skin. And the audacity to allow that to annoy you is just comical to me. Like, I can't grasp it. And people really just, that blows their mind, right? But if I wouldn't come to you for advice, why on earth would I accept criticism for you? Like, why? Why would I allow you to say things that are probably hurtful, probably mean, probably negative? I'm not going to do that. And a lot of people can't grasp that I can kind of hit that switch and genuinely not care. But you have to learn to not overthink things. I take these comments from people on social media, comments from people in real life, and I could really get down on myself. I could really get in that hole. And I think that we are in a society right now where we are just trained to kind of be our own worst enemy. You're trained to hate yourself, especially women. You're trained to hate your body. You're trained to hate, other women and have everything pitted against each other. And I can't relate. You want to call me a bitch? I knew it way before you did. You want to say something hurtful and mean to me? I've probably looked in the mirror and said it to myself already and learned my way through that, right? I've done the work on that. And people just can't stand it. They can't stand when you're content and you're happy. Being comfortable in your own skin is such a power move. And I feel like a lot of people, it blows their mind. And I always get the, how do you sleep at night when knowing people don't like you? With the fan on, baby girl. Okay?
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's very freeing.
And I notice it because it's like, yeah, you're very free. You're free to have your thoughts and your things like that. Yeah.
Especially when people come to my house, you get what you get.
But your community also supports you.
Yeah.
And they're great about that. I mean, I think you
But how genuine, you get genuine back.
Yes. You cannot have the scarcity mentality. You have to be willing to know that maybe that person's going to do better than you.
Yeah.
And if they do, maybe they hustled harder than you. Maybe they wanted it a little bit more than you.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to have somebody else that, maybe for me, I'm around a lot of people who are very successful, and at any given time, they could give me or I could give them a advice and they could turn their business and make it even more successful than mine. I'm totally okay with it. You know why? Because they do not attract the same people that I attract. I totally believe in you attract the people that are meant for you, and they attract the people that are meant for them. You know, I talk about her sometimes, but one of the agents that live in our neighborhood, you know, she's a great producer and stuff. There have been times where I'll call her and be like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about this? You know,
and she definitely does that to you.
She definitely does, because she doesn't have that thought of, if I help her, she'll take from my abundance.
Yeah.
I am not interfering with what she's doing, and she is not interfering with what I'm doing.
And it's awesome because in reality, you're all driving the same race, right? But you have this tunnel vision almost of your path forward. And when you have those goggles on, you're not even really aware that that person's kind of in the lane next to you. Like, I know that you succeed. I know you do this stuff. I know there might be people who overlap on, but like,
but I also
really stop and think about
I'm
it.
like in my lane, right? She's way more successful than I am. I'm super happy for her. I'm very proud of her. She deserves it. She's worked very hard for it. I admire and aspire to be that, you know? And I think that I can do that without having that feel of competition and having that feeling of like I am stopping her for being great.
And you do that on your terms, right? You're not going to sacrifice your morals and values and what you think makes you authentic to people that are doing business with you just to achieve something. Like, maybe she does something that works for her, and if you did it, it's icky.
Yeah.
Like, you have to move that way. You can't be competitive like that. And I think you hit the nail on the head with the, like, I inspire to achieve the level of greatness she has. I don't inspire to be her. I don't inspire to kick her off that podium, right? Like, I'm going to make my own podium.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have these accolades and these respects and these things, but it's not really about her.
And we
She's
don't
just
really
kind of like
do
a
the
vision
same
of
thing,
things.
right? We do our business completely different.
Yeah.
We move differently, but we still are champions for each other. I think once you have put yourself in a position that there's room for everybody, there's room at this table for everybody, there's enough abundance to go around. Again, I speak about that energy. That energy just starts flowing to you. It keeps coming to you.
Yeah.
When you don't know what to do with it because you're so worried about somebody else getting it, while you're focused on what I'm doing, you're not producing. And you're not producing because you're worried about the energy that I'm receiving. You are actually deflecting your energy right now. You've put up this.
If you're so busy fanning somebody else's flame, you're suffocating yours. If you move all the air in the room and force it at that flame, you've got none left.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just not, it's not achievable. It's not sustainable. It's not something that will bring you happiness in the end.
No, and my advice to people that feel like they have these icky thoughts, they're jealousy. Let's just be real. These are thoughts of jealousy. They're normal thoughts, but they're ones that can be changed if you move them in a way of happiness for other people.
And gratefulness.
Because there's one thing to be like, say something nasty, right? And then turn around and be like, but I'm happy for you. No, you're not.
It's like when you say something really often, you go, just kidding. You know what? Stop it.
Wait. What is the Southern saying?
Bless your heart.
Oh, bless your heart. It's like a bless your heart saying. Like, nah, we don't do that. But like, I feel very passionate about like checking people and making them understand like your heart right now is not in the right direction. And I will tell somebody like, while you're worried about somebody else being great, you aren't being great. And that is because you're putting off really nasty energy. And you have to learn how to check yourself with those jealousy thoughts. If you're so worried about your friend doing great, you need to take a good look in the mirror.
And it's like, there's two parts to that, right? Like it's a normal human reaction to be jealous, but those are inside thoughts, right? Like, there are things that are worth voicing and addressing, and there's things that aren't. Like, you can have a tinge of like, God, I wish that was me. But then your next immediate normal thought of an authentic, grateful person is like, now I know what I want to work towards. Not like, how do I take her down? Like, those are different things, right? Like, it's okay to have that initial like.
Or I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you I was jealous of all of your success. I once had someone tell me that. That was a rough one.
Yeah, there's just such a difference between inspired by and jealous of, and that's the line, man. That's the line.
Well, we couldn't be friends after that. Because then I had to worry all the time if I was hurting her.
Well,
Every
because
time
if
I
you
had something
are-
great happening for me, I had to worry if you weren't even really happy for me. Like, I had to think that the whole time. And I was just like, what kind of world am I living right now? If now that you've said that out loud,
Yeah, I can't take it back.
I can't even come to you and say, like, look, this great thing happened, right? Like, you can't be happy for me. We can't be excited. You can't take it back. You said what you
Well,
said.
you've drawn that line in the sand of you're not inspired by with a new goal. You're jealous of with the manipulation of how do I make it mine? Not how do I make it for myself? How do I take that from that person and make it mine?
Right.
And once you've drawn that line in the sand, that is always how I will see the moves that you make as manipulative and to take me down to some sabotage shit.
Right.
And no.
Especially when, you've been so kind to somebody, or, and you've tried to share all your success with them. That was a really hard lesson to learn. Again, you'll hear me say I'm super grateful for it because I learned and I move in a way now that I didn't move then.
It's another notch on the belt. You needed it.
It's just, I need it. I take them on the chin, baby. I like it. It's fine. I think now, as things progress in my business, as things like that happen to me, I have become better at accepting what I cannot control.
It's such a hard lesson. It's a lifelong lesson.
It is too. I mean,
Every time I think I got it under control, something happens and I'm like, oh.
even like, Courtney, love her dearly, and she'll just be like, hey, like, are you like worried about like having these people come in, or like if you have too many people on the team or whatnot, and I'm just kind of like, no, because I cannot control these things.
Yeah.
And if I spend every waking moment wondering if I have to trust these people or not, I'll never do my own job. Because not for nothing, if I break off from my team, which I love very much, and I don't have any intentions of doing, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
If I don't do real estate, I'll do okay. There's only a few things in my life that I can't live without.
Yeah.
It's my kids, my husband, probably my dogs.
Those friggin' horses.
I love my puppies.
I think it's really interesting in the career field that we're in. Anything really that's sales, right? You always, I don't necessarily care what people think. I know that I move with good intentions, so I struggle with the role that I'm in. People always, or at least I feel like, always in the back of my mind is, do they stop and think that I do nice things because I want something from them? Because there's so many people in career fields like ours where you're sales and you're selling yourself and all this that stop and wonder that. Like if I sign up for a meal train because I genuinely want to like make sure that family has food if somebody had surgery, I literally have a thought in the back of my head like, God, I hope someone's not like thinking, oh, she just did this, whatever. Like it's, I always kind of think
you were doing
that.
that stuff before you ever even got into real estate.
And I do. I have to remind myself that I always just have like that little ick in the back of my head because we're kind of in a role where like you always, you're in a job that you always kind of need something from somebody,
If you
right?
lead with your heart, then people will know that it's been led with your heart.
Yeah.
If you do things that are not genuine, like people will know that. They can see right through that.
Yeah.
Like I always try to do stuff that makes people feel good, or it's part of our business, right?
I mean, we definitely get business off of doing some of those things, right? But we don't set out looking for business when we do them.
No, because
Like,
we
it's a
would
nice
we would
perk
do
if
that
that
before
turns into
anyways.
something,
And I've
but-
always been like that person. Like, I love my husband, but he's gonna be so pissed at me about this. I don't think he's gonna be mad actually. I always was like this really good gift giver, super thoughtful.
That's how I show love.
Yeah,
You're getting a lasagna or a gift. That's all I got for you.
I have gotten a few lasagnas from you, and so is Braden. Braden be like, "Make me a lasagna. I'll cut your grass, Miss Lynn."
Eric texted him at like 10:30 one night and was like, Miss Lynn made too much lasagna. I don't think I've ever seen somebody move so fast. There was like a knock on the door. I swear to God, in 2 minutes. And I was like, it's 10:30. Who is that? Here comes Braden. I'm here for the lasagna. I'm like, it's in the fridge. I didn't even know Eric texted you.
Oh my God, that's so funny. But I mean, you have always done that, and I always was like a huge gift giver, and I love doing that. And one day my husband's like, your gifts always used to be so great. And I'm like, yeah, but like you weren't putting in as much thought. And then I kind of felt like,
Why bother?
yeah. And so now we're back to like the great gifts again. So we
Yeah.
do really good gifts. We went through our whole thing again, but I just always like to make other people happy that are around me.
I feel like that's just an insecurity I have. Like you were talking about, like I'm confident. I generally have gotten to the point I don't care what people think, but I still have an insecurity that exists of like, I spent so many years of like, I had to have the last word, right? Like, don't you dare accuse me of something I didn't do, because I'll fucking fight to the death about it. Like that was my trigger. I was just like, how dare you question my character? And I think I still have a little bit of that lingering where I'm like, God, I hope no one ever feels that way, like with any move that I make. So I always kind of wonder that, because there's been people that do stuff for me and it's like, that was really sweet. And then it's like, oh, wait, there's a business card with like, call me, I'll give you whatever. Like if it was a realtor, say it's like, call me, I'll give you a CMA. I'm like, bleh. I just wanted the thought about you and your family during this time. Like, so I move very intentionally with making sure I don't rub people that way. Like, ugh.
Yeah, no, because your sphere of influence is going to know that you're an amazing human being, and they're going to be the ones that help you, grow your business.
Like our sphere is incredible.
It is, and we are super, super blessed. We're very blessed. There's a reel the other day. It was actually Rick Ross, and he posted on there that when you have a business, your friends should be willing to share it, review it, and comment on your stuff.
Support for free. It's free.
It's free to support. And if they're not, then like you it's like that thing, like they question like, why aren't you famous yet? I don't know. Why haven't you commented on my stuff yet?
Yeah. Like it, share it, love it.
When you talk about jealousy, I have like a twinge bit of jealousy when I see other agents that I know, they get like, their clients will go on Facebook, public platforms, and be like, this agent was freaking amazing. They were so great, do the whole thing. I'm like, hey.
That's like the best feeling though, when someone does that to you. I love it. It's so
when can we get that?
Free and
right?
simple.
But then the other side of me is like, okay, I don't want to compare to that because my people have been so amazing to me.
It's just behind the scenes.
It's behind the scenes, which I'm fine with. It is what it is. And that's an insecurity, right? That's an insecurity that I have to get over. Social media can be the devil in disguise. It can make you question everything that you are. And there's a lot of people that move. I have to be very conscious of checking myself on social media because I spend so much time on it. And I spend so much time on it because it's what gives me business. It's, how I move. It's how I study it. It's everything that I do is through social media. So I spend a lot of time on it, but it can also create a lot of anxiety and unwarranted, stress.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're not like checking yourself.
And it's really like you're already an overthinker. So then you're basically opening the door for everyone to prey on your insecurities.
Oh,
like the worst is when like, that one time I posted that video, I was like introducing a house I was doing an open house to. And I was like, hey guys, I'm Lynn, this week we're at blah, blah, blah. Literally like maybe 10 seconds. The rest of the video was panning through the house. And the first comment was like, maybe if you move your face, we could see the house and we'd want to come by. And I was like, ouch.
Ouch.
It hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's wild. People can be evil.
Rough.
Don't be that person.
And you can't change people.
You can't.
And you like now I had to like switch that all around. People are like, oh, but I don't want to share my family, or I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that because of people's comments. And I'm kind of like, well, I had to change that mindset. For every comment, it boosts the algorithm.
Yeah.
You're helping me without even knowing you're helping me.
I don't get upset. It's more for me that I have to vigilantly remind myself to remain professional.
I know,
it's
you're right.
It's a struggle.
There has been a few
somebody
times
catch
I
me
will
on the right
screenshot
day.
it and I'll send it to you like, take it down.
Yeah.
Take it down. So
but there's
aggressive.
also times that you'll screenshot something and you're like, you're it.
Yes.
I'm like, yes. I'm
Tucking
like
you in, baby.
Uncaged animal. Back away. Can't put it back in the bottle now.
Right. I do go back to that whole, I feel very passionate about giving everybody, you can give them the recipe, but it tastes different every time. You should never be unwilling to share your success, your advice, your heart, your mentality, whatever it is. If you think it can help somebody else, well, guess what? You can't take it to the grave with you. So help them. How do you want to be remembered when you leave?
A stingy little bitch, or
Right. I mean, there's so many people that like want to be remembered for success, or they want to be remembered for wealth. That is not what I want to be remembered for. Do I want to have wealth? Heck yeah. It makes life a little bit easier. But I don't want to be remembered for that. I want to be remembered because I was kind. I was loyal.
I don't even think it's about success. I like being remembered for like I gave anything I put my hands on, my all.
Yeah.
Whether it was being a mom, being a realtor, any of those things. I'm very competitive, and if I'm going to do something, I'm going to strive to be the best.
One of the things I love about you the most, and has what made me gravitate towards you a lot, is your willingness to want to see other people succeed. Mm-hmm. You're kind. You're outgoing. You're a freaking good time. And you don't get jealous over other people.
Yeah.
And you're a fierce protector when it comes to people that you love and care about, right? If I call you tomorrow and I'm crying, you're like, I already got my shovel. Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm about to bury somebody with you, right? And I'm so grateful for that. And I really feel like there's a lot of people like, oh, I feel like I can't sit at your table because you and Lynn are so close. Like, no, you should be like, yes. Mm-hmm. Where do I get a Lynn from? Yeah. Where do I get a Haley from? Right? Like, nobody has to question whether or not I'll ride for you. They already know.
Yeah.
Nobody would dare talk bad about you in front of me.
No.
Not gonna happen. They ain't gonna do it.
You lose your life.
Yeah, that's how you lose your life.
It's like a solid marriage. Like, you don't talk about each other's spouses. No, like, no. Don't talk about my person.
No, you don't talk about my person. But you always gave me that vibe that there was a community and not competition. Mm-hmm. That it was okay to have these ideas and share them. Yeah. Anytime I talk about an idea with you, I'm not like, hey, I'm only going to do this, right? My ideas are usually because I want to share them with you because I want us to do it together. Yeah. You can't be the smartest person in the room all the time. You have to align yourself with people who make each other great. You know, you have to have somebody who inspires you. I might inspire you in ways that I don't know, and you inspire me in ways that I don't know. Yeah. And that's the whole thing about community.
And not for nothing, it's especially when you're putting on other Carolina One agents. Me helping you just helps Carolina One look better. Mm-hmm. And I put that powerhouse behind my name. Yeah. Every time I message somebody.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
We literally got a deal the other day because they were like, we don't want a mom and pop place. And I was like, funny story. We're the top nationwide, this, that.
Right, right.
I will throw that down every chance I get. So if me helping you helps boost that beast, I'm here for it.
Right, right. And I also feel like, I mean, I don't even know if we're nationwide, but I know that like in South Carolina, especially in the Tri-County area, we're number one probably with Carolina One. But I don't believe in hiding the tools because I feel like if I share them when I need, like I wanted that guy that I was like helping like work through a lot of his social media anxiety and stuff. I want when he has a deal and maybe I bring the buyer, I want him to tell his clients like, I know her. Mm-hmm. I've worked with her before. She's going to make this a smooth transaction. She's a good human being. And I try to do that with everybody. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, I'm super kind until I won't be.
Mm-hmm. Don't poke the bear.
Don't poke the bear. Don't play with me. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because I play ball.
What's that saying? Don't excuse my kindness for weakness.
And I used to not be like that.
Confuse. Don't confuse my kindness with weakness.
But I didn't used to be like that. Mm-hmm. 2 or 3 years ago, I would cry when somebody was mean to me. Now, mm-hmm. I have that confidence that I didn't have before where I'm like, no, you're wrong. You're an awful human and I'm going to stand up to you.
That's that Coffee Bean right there.
Yeah.
And if you haven't listened to Coffee Bean, we had him. He came out for our company. He's got books and podcasts. It's Damon West. He's fantastic. His whole mentality is you can put a lot of things in boiling water and different things happen, you know? And you can get hard, you could get soft, you can break, you can crack, or you can turn into something better. So be a coffee bean, turn into something better.
His story was chilling.
The first 15 seconds, I was just like, huh? It's just like, you know, this like skinny, scrawny, like little white dude gets up there and he's like, hey guys. And we're like, okay, whatever. Like, it's gonna be cool. Yeah. I'm down for it. And he's like, you wouldn't think 6 years ago I was the biggest crime boss or wherever and snorting this off of somebody and blah, blah, blah. We were like, what? Yeah. What's happening? But it was so like, I was so engaged. Like,
his story's really good.
Fantastic public speaker.
His mom sounded like a smart woman. Mm-hmm. See, I would love to be a public speaker, but I don't think you could have me at places.
You need that little explicit logo to follow you around in real life.
You right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And some White Claw.
That part.
I don't even really care about White Claw. I really care about wine, but I really do feel like I tell people the honest truth, not and with ill intentions, with the intention of if you don't want to hear the truth, don't ask me. You know?
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Please don't.
And keep in mind, especially for women, if I'm asking you a question, I probably already know the answer. So don't lie.
Helping other people be great will be one of the greatest things that I ever accomplish. Helping other people be successful will bring me natural happiness that is free.
And I feel like you are so always willing to share the stage, and that is such a good outlook and attack for life. Like that's such a
why
good thing.
I really, when we were naming Palmetto Elite Group, I didn't want to name it after myself. I wanted to be able to share the brand with other people. I wanted other people to take that and feel a sense of worth. And that was really important to me. And even when we get accolades or anything like that, if I
Much smarter branding choice business-wise, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, do you really want to wear Ebersole across your Ebersole has it sold or Haley has it sold across your shirt?
No.
No. And I'm not saying anything bad about anybody who uses their name. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But like, even when there's a trophy to be had or an accolade or whatever it is, if there is an option to pick a team, the team award over the individual, I always pick the team award.
Yeah. But that goes back to that. What's good for Carolina One is good for me. What's good for Palmetto Elite fuels my fire, helps my business. Is again, I'm putting out good. I'm putting on my people, and in return, I'm getting something that's still helping me achieve greatness.
But I also think like it has to be a bigger picture, right? It can't be about one person. I truly believe that what I'm doing in my business and in my industry, I can make a bigger impact in people's lives. That's the direction I'm moving into. I'm moving into that community direction. I want to help other people create their businesses and be successful in them. I have a long-term goal of helping entrepreneurs, new business owners, small businesses grow into something that can be successful, that they can be proud of, and that they can make money off of.
It's like life coaching, but for your business, your entrepreneurship. It's like it's more like a mindset thing.
Yeah, it's really about, establishing some really good habits and behaviors that can make you super successful. I don't know what that looks like for me in the future. I probably just gave somebody an idea that they're going to run with. I hope they are very successful at it. But eventually I will move in that path, and I will do that while doing this too. Because I do believe that what I do now really fuels my fire to be more creative, innovative. It gives me the energy to wake up every morning and want to be better.
I love that. And I feel like it's really important to make sure, like you were saying, people are always like, oh, there's not room at the table. First off, the door's always open. Either you're afraid to walk through it, you're intimidated, that's your insecurity, don't bring that over here. Everybody's offered a seat at the table. Whether you can keep your seat at the table is on you.
Yeah. I'll kick the fucking legs out in a heartbeat.
You have to keep it.
You can't just drop on the table.
Oh, Tony Soprano this shit.
But for sure. I mean, you have to be willing to give out as much as, you're receiving.
And you have to be okay with, I might waste my time, my money, my energy, and get nothing in return.
I went today and spent 2 hours at a lunch meeting that somebody asked me to be at, which was fine.
I thought you were going to say buy my kids popcorn.
Oh, I did buy your kids popcorn too. But I spent 2 hours at a meeting helping somebody else grow their business. I did not get any financial payment out of that. I bought my own lunch. I used my own gas, and I took 2 hours out of my business that I could have been building and doing somebody else a service, right?
Yeah.
There's two sides to that coin though, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, could I have been building my business and making myself more money? Yes. And somebody once told me I no longer do things that don't serve me or my business. I no longer do that because it takes up time when I could be building my business or spending time with my family. And on one side of the coin, I understand that.
Absolutely. I can definitely relate
I get
to
that. I completely relate to that. Then the other side is who I am at my core. And I truly want to help other people. She sells in the same market I sell in. She's a top producing agent. She's
But
been in the
fact
business
that-
since 2008.
Ooh, rough.
She came with a 3-page list of questions for me.
I
I
kind
thought it
of
was
love that.
amazing.
I kind of love
I
that.
thought it was amazing. She followed up with a
You
text
came,
message
you're
too.
not here to waste my time. It's fantastic.
she
and
was
she's
great.
probably somebody that's going to take a lot away from what you say and what you bring to the table and actually act on it, because it's so infuriating when you waste time and energy and you do those things and that person, like, it's a flop.
I mean, not for
They don't
nothing.
listen,
I
they
take
don't
these
get it.
meetings almost on a weekly basis now. People reach out to me almost on a weekly basis now. Would you mind doing lunch with me? Can we grab coffee? Can we do this? They're not even from my brokerage.
You know my feelings on that.
I know you think I should be getting paid.
Absolutely. I'm here for the good of the people, and you answer the phone. Yes, I'll send you that. Yes, I'll share that with you. But if you want to sit down and spend 2, 3, 4 hours of my time, if you basically want to end the walk away of like, hey, email me this, and you literally want me to hand you the keys to the kingdom, that's a job. That's a job.
Yeah, I get
I'm fine
that.
doing it, but that's a job.
I know. Somebody one day is going to pay me for that.
I literally made a TikTok the other day because I was cracking myself up in my car. Because you know you have like the heaters and the coolers in your car?
Yeah.
Well, I had my coffee that was no longer cold, but it was a cold coffee from like 8 a.m. at like 2 p.m. on my way to class. And I was just thinking, like, God, it'd be really cool if, like, because I turned the seat cooler on. I'm like, it'd be so cool if, like, my cup holder had the cooler to keep my coffee cool while I was driving, or, like, hot. And then I literally was like, oh, my God, am I going to be rich? Like, I just thought of the coolest idea. And then Eric was like, this car has that. This car has that. I was like, oh, so I'm not smart. I'm just broke. Got it. Got it. Good. But you get excited and, like, those wheels start turning. And I feel like we're both that way, where it's like some little thing sparks this thing. And then, like, you literally call me today. You're like, not that you have a minute of free time, but we have another business opportunity.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, let's go.
So, successful real estate team. Mm-hmm. Maybe a not so successful podcast, but one
no
day
doubting.
gonna be.
No doubting.
No, I'm not doubting it. It's not there yet, but we gonna get some
Well,
followers.
we're like episode 10. Give it time.
Yeah. And now, consulting business. Let's go.
Yeah,
what you got
absolutely.
next? I mean, you're TikTok famous. Are you getting paid on TikTok now?
I just got a notification that I can start getting paid, and I have to do lives, and I hate it a little bit. But between the TikTok stuff and then that little Amazon storefront I had, I just got an email, which Amazon is very, I mean this in a good way, aggressive about pursuing their, like, I hate calling myself an influencer, but they're like influencers, right? So I have this storefront. I actually used my TikTok to verify that I was, like, cool enough to have an Amazon storefront. And they set it up, and I thoroughly enjoy doing it. Like, literally, I spend no money. I just make lists. I have a freaking ball.
I know.
People buy stuff.
That's why you
and
shop
get
for me
stuff.
all the time.
I love it.
Anytime I need a list, I'm like, hey, I'm going to Europe for 16 days. Can you make me a list of, like, clothing? Or I'm going on a vacation that's tropical. Can you make me a tropical one? Like, you literally make me all these lists, and you're like, here's your cart. All I got to do is go
She
through
gave
it
me
and
her
buy
phone
it.
the other day, and of course we were drinking. Oh, shocker. And she had like 3 things in the Shein cart. So she was like, add all the things you think I should get. Girl, don't tell me. I added it. It was full. It was exploding at the seams. And I told her, and I was like eye contact. Look at me. Make sure you look at your cart
Which
before
I
you
did,
hit
but I didn't
pay.
realize when I had it in my cart, I ordered all of that stuff. It was a massive box. It was the biggest Shein haul I've ever had in my
Yeah,
life.
usually they come with like they're determined to fit that shit in a sandwich bag.
No, it was huge.
Did you not go through the cart? Did you just hit order?
No, I didn't realize that I might have like went back and forth to that cart a couple times and hit doubles on things. So I got like 2 pairs of the same jean, 2 dresses, 2
I've done
shirts.
it.
I was like, God, dang
I've
it.
done it. Shein's not great about letting you know you already have that in your cart. But yeah,
It's a trap.
It's a whole thing, but it's really fun. I thoroughly enjoy the Amazon thing. It by no means is that like paying my bills, but it's something really cool that again is more of like, I don't so much make money off of it, but like people really enjoy it. I really enjoy like shopping for other people. I'm here for it.
So what, you
Every
shop for
girl
other people then?
on our team has a list that they've asked me to make them for stuff. And Courtney the other day was like, listen, I need blazers and dresses. I was like, on it.
Consulting. You're a personal shopper now?
Yep.
Or are we opening up a personal shop?
I'll stage your home.
Listen, I am an
dress you.
entrepreneur, okay? You know, you have to lean on people where you lack in other areas. That's where that whole community thing comes in.
Yin and the
if
yang.
you are not great about scheduling, you better hire somebody to be good at scheduling.
If you can't return calls, get somebody to make your calls for you.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So moral of the story is, if you are so focused on competition and not helping your community grow, you will not, I think, you won't produce.
Mm-hmm. You get
or
what
you
put
will
out.
for a little while, but then you're going to have like this fall off where you're kind of like, you're on like cloud nine. Well, eventually people are going to find out your secrets, right? You can't keep the keys to the kingdom forever.
Listen, some people excel in life, especially in our career field, because they are phenomenal at getting one-time clients.
Oh God, I know.
Imagine if those people that can manipulate and convince people to work with them and blow everybody else out of the water. Imagine if those people had the capability to convert those into forever referral clients. Mm-hmm. Unstoppable.
Listen,
but those people very quickly realize when a mistake has been made. And
I'm not
they
allowed
don't
to
call
say
again.
anything, so I can't say names, but I love to say a name. But I'm not going to, because I'm getting better, okay? But I know somebody who won't even accept any other agent on social media. You're like the epitome of what
You're
a
hurting
freaking
yourself
scarcity
and
mindset.
your clients, though.
Like the what?
The things that you're missing out on, marketing wise, the things you're missing out on, like what?
Community wise.
Are you bringing every buyer for every listing you ever have ever?
I have that Facebook page, the Moving To page, and somebody mentioned to me, I see you let people post on this, which for a brief second I was kind of like, maybe I shouldn't, right? Me and you talked through that. You were really good about like helping me through that. And they're like, I see you let other people post on that. Like, why do you do that? And I'm like, well, I guess, it's all about abundance.
Yeah.
And I really hope that by them posting there, like maybe I might have a buyer for their listing, or maybe they'll have a buyer for my listing. And it's really just about like helping other people be great. And I definitely, like, when I get into a position where maybe I have to do a deal with them, I want them to be like, she was always great to me.
It's for transparency too, right? Like, it's good karma. It's a good way to move about life, but it's for transparency. Because if you take those shysty people and you tell them they can't post, they're just going to private message them.
Yeah.
Like, make it transparent. Publicly throw your hat in the ring with this other 87 comments.
Yeah.
Guess what? Because when we comment on shit that has 87 comments, we usually get the bid.
Well, again, we've teamed up on that, right? We're like, okay, let's go.
Tag team.
Back again. To be honest with you, the ceiling, there is no ceiling. There's no ceiling for your greatness. Stop worrying about what other people are doing and start helping them be great, and you will be inspired.
But I've worked really hard on, like, taking something, making it mine, and then getting to the point of, like, I don't clear up rumors. Oh my God, you'll never. Somebody told me that you said this. First off, I probably did. And if I did, I'm going to go, yes, but I said it this way. Or yes, like, sure did. Like, no, we can fight.
Right.
I'm going to tell you what I said. I'm usually already saying it to your face. Like, I really don't gossip about people. If I have a problem, I'm going to say it to you. I'm very big on, like, especially in social media. I get questions all the time. How do you deal with the negative stuff? Especially like with people you know. Like if somebody you know has the audacity to kind of call you out in a bullshit way, not in like a, here for community conversation, I have a genuine question kind of way. If they're like being negative and attacking you and targeting you, my big thing is like, you don't care enough to bring the problem to me. So why should I care enough to solve it?
Right.
If you have a problem and you bring it to my door, I'm happy to talk through it. I'm happy to apologize if that's necessary. I'm happy to explain my intentions. I'm happy to address the way it made you feel, whatever it may be. But be authentic, move good, do good. It'll come back to you tenfold. And don't be creepy, manipulative, and weird. It's icky. Don't do it.
Help other people be great, and that energy will come back to you.
And that's a wrap. If you like what you heard, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. And as always, you can listen on Apple, Spotify, and more. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube for video podcast. We'll see you next week.